Hi everyone, I'm Denoru,
Hey, I'm Fall Monk. What's up?
and today we have a special guest. Danzik, feel free to introduce yourself.
Hey guys, I'm DanzikStreams, local Twitch streamer and local Huntsville streamer as well.
So, one thing, you're in a couple D&D games. Why don't you also tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I'm technically in 3 games total, 2 of them of which are actually streamed or live on Twitch. One being on my own channel. It's a homebrew campaign set in D&D 5e, set in the world of Faerun, and the other one being another custom-made campaign over on the stream team that I'm a part of called the Hobo Slayers. We go. I do my D&D about stream about weekly, once a week, usually every Friday, or sometime on the weekend, depending if we have to reschedule. And then the Hobo Slayers D&D is every other Sunday evening.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I haven't got to see all of it, but I at least watched the first episode of Hobo Slayers. I really enjoyed it. It was a good stream.
Yeah, I have a fun character that I play on that one that I've been super enjoying.
I'm digging Vice so far. Seems pretty cool.
Yeah, I've been trying to catch it as much as I could. But yeah.
Yeah, I've just been watching YouTubes of it.
Oh yeah. I need to catch
Yeah,
up.
those actually get uploaded to the Hobo Slayers channel on YouTube, which we're still building up to try and actually have our own like actual YouTube URL and make it into something.
Right. I guess what topics do we have for us today?
Okay, so first topic was going to be class viabilities and like the meta versus just how lackluster class can be, you know.
Okay. Well, do you have any? I guess I'm just curious to hear what everybody has to say and kind of go with it.
For what my followers expect, should start dunking on Rangers any moment now.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean that's what I'm here for.
Okay, glad we're on the same page here. It's like,
I mean, it's universally in 5e. It is the class that's so bad that they released a UA variant for it. That's like, hey guys, use this one instead. We're sorry for the actual published class.
on my meme page, every time I make a joke about Rangers, their fans come out of the woodwork. Like, one case,
On paper, they're good.
yeah, like,
But-
you know, my argument for them is they are a really good support class, but they fall behind on a damage. That's the main thing.
I feel like Ranger is best used as a multi-class, and only to get like a few things, like favorite enemy. God, if you start off level 1 Ranger, you don't even know what your favorite enemy is even going to be in this entire campaign.
Yeah.
Natural Explorer, that's so limiting to the terrain. And if you're playing, just going off the baseline, if you're making a level 1 character, unless you know the entire DM's world, and DM's been very open, like, oh yeah, you're going to be in this desert town here, and you're going to be primarily in this desert, then you're like, okay, well, I probably shouldn't pick Tundra as my Natural Explorer. Gotcha.
Yeah, like, I'll always admit I do have bias against Rangers because I got screwed over the one time I played Ranger because I had a DM who only focused on the combat and none of the roleplay or the exploring aspects of it. And I was in a party with a multi-class champion fighter and rogue archer and an assassin archer. So I fell behind in damage so quickly.
So is this a full range team?
All range except one paladin.
Gosh.
All right.
We were very poorly optimized, and I actually ended up switching that ranger to a fighter because
Fighter Rangers do it better.
Yeah.
They can be used pretty well, but no, it was just a strict champion fighter, and I liked him so much more. And also offset the balancing problem we had of a near all ranged party, because the other 2 members of that party was a Blade Warlock before Hexblade was released, so kind of good, but not the best at up close, and a... what was it? It was a ranged bard until it died, then he Then he made a cleric with his second character.
Okay.
But yeah, it was fully ranged party, and I got to see how bad I fell behind in DPS because I tried a bunch of different techniques as rangers. None of them held up to the pure, just insane sneak attack damage and all the hits that a fighter can put out.
Yeah, I know. Kayla, her first class that she played was a ranger, and I just remember, I don't know, it was almost discouraging playing a ranger as your first class because if you don't have extra attack, you shoot, and if you miss, you do nothing.
Yep.
And that can be very discouraging for a new player. But Danzik, you actually mentioned a good thing about like multi-classing into it. A lot of times whenever I'm multi-classing, I always look at what do I get from this starting class if I multi-class into it, and getting that, preferred
Favorite enemy.
Favorite enemy. There we go. And then also terrain. Like if you're building for those, nothing else, I feel like it would be a viable option.
Yeah, and I don't think anyone can deny that Hunter's Mark is an amazing spell.
Oh yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. The archetypes have a lot to be desired for. So if you were gonna multi-class into Ranger, just get to level 2. You get the favorite enemy, which by that point in time, if you must be like level 5 or 6, you already have an idea of what your favorite enemy is gonna be. You probably met an your DM's probably introduced some sort of like key NPC who is kind of like the main bad guy, and you're like, okay, I want this guy to be him. This is who we're hunting down in this situation. And then Hunter's Mark is just such a great, for any kind of damage dealer, you want Hunter's Mark. It's just the perfect spell for that. But at fighting style, you get the option of, you have archery, of course. If you pick our fighter, like an arcane archer, you probably already have archery, which is fine. Dueling is okay. Dueling is a bunch of defense, but 2-weapon fighting, which gives you the ability to add your modifiers to the damage of your second attacks, that is a great fighting style that I don't think you actually get as a fighter.
You do, but also that and defensive, that's a really good one.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure.
And you can stack those.
Yeah.
Like extra attack.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Rangers have access to all fighters' fighting styles, except maybe protection. I think that's the only one they don't have.
Yeah, I know they were missing one. I feel like that's it. What was the
Great weapon fighting.
Oh, they don't have great
Defense
weapon
was
fighting?
they have 2-weapon fighting. They don't have great weapon fighting. So if they're doing like an offhand ranger dual wielding, then that's beneficial for them. Defense is just wearing armor, gain another +1 AC, which is standard bog in the mill, like run of the mill, but it's useful.
Yeah.
1 AC kind of makes a difference.
Yeah,
it can make a lot of difference.
Yeah,
especially early game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You can be one shot by a rat, then you definitely want to have as much AC as possible.
Exactly. Like in Arcane Bane, I bought more armor just so I can get that 1 more AC.
Oh, especially for light armor, you want to get studded as soon as you can, because that's about the best you're going to get, unless you either get medium armor master or you get some kind of magic armor.
Yeah, and even then, if you're a Dex character, there's really no need to get medium armor if your Dex is over 2.
Yeah. Honestly, it's more just if you you don't want to spec out your Dex insanely.
Yeah.
But still be stealthy.
That's why I mostly go Dex builds.
Usually at that point, it's sometimes more viable just a multi-class in either barbarian or monk, just to get the unarmored defense bonus and just call it a day.
That is true.
Oh yeah, the unarmored defense and the unarmored strikes, that's some of the best parts of monk to me. The fact you're always ready to do something.
Yeah. That's actually a question I have. Which unarmored, I guess, feat would you say is the best? Like, because you have Draconic Ancestry sorcerers, you have monks, and you have barbarians.
That's a good one. I would say monk though, because they get the most benefits from their unarmored bonus, like their movement and
right.
Since to get like plus nearly 30 movement by the end of the game.
That is true, because that is technically still part of it.
Yeah, because barbarians, I think they only get like +10 if they're not wearing heavy armor, and draconic is just like good for you get a built-in mage armor.
Because see, what is draconic? Is it
13 plus dex?
13 plus dex?
Yeah.
All right,
So
so
just having that base is good.
yeah, it's just like putting on some armor.
Yeah, well, it's basically mage armor, so it saves you first level spell slot, and you're pretty much the Chad among all wizards.
Yeah.
True. But I have to personally lean towards wisdom base because the monk version. So like, I mean, it all depends on what character you're rolling and of course what stat allocation you use. But most people are not going to usually make Constitution their run-of-the-mill middle ground stat. Like a barbarian isn't going to put too much in Constitution. It might make it second place, but you want to be the buff strength guy. And then it goes off dex and con, so you got to make a sacrifice somewhere, as opposed to like a monk who is like, okay, you can finesse everything. There's your dex mod. Dex is already good for AC, so that's good. And then you want to put your wisdom modifier into that, and it just gives you a higher number usually.
Yeah, stat allocation wise, monks are amazing because it's not like it's something that's always annoyed me about rogues that they recommend you make intelligence your second highest stat. And I think only maybe one subtype of rogues use their intelligence, and that's Mastermind, which came in late game.
Yeah.
And, well, I guess the Inquisitor would as well. But other than that, like, most classes, their secondary recommended stat isn't always necessary, but for monks, it really is.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Monks are some of the most broken classes in D&D. That's probably like my top. Like if I had to go like off meta things, it's monks are the top of the top. They're just so broken.
They're so versatile and can do so much. Because that movement speed increase on armored strikes, you get mobility. You can just run in, punch people, run out.
Yeah, generally, I'd say like if I had a top 3 classes, it would probably be for me like probably monks, paladins, and sorcerers when it comes to just purely doing damage.
Mm-hmm.
And I give it to sorcerers because twin spelling, and paladins just if your DM lets you crit after call a smite after you crit, and you just pump like your bonus action and your divine smite all into one hit, you can wreck nearly anything in one turn.
Oh yeah, paladins are crit fishers, and I always used to be like, because of that, paladins were good, but I was like, oh, but it's not fun playing them because I have to be lawful good, or I have to be this or that. And then I started looking at it in different ways and started like twisting the thoughts on it. I was just like, lawful good doesn't exactly mean that he's a good person. It just means that he's obeying his code of ethics. And that became very clear when I made I watch a YouTube channel that basically remakes like pop culture characters and characters from movies and anime and video games into D&D characters. And they made one for Dimitri from Fire Emblem Three Houses.
Hey, that's awesome.
He's a level 12 paladin, level 4 fighter, and level 4 barbarian. And he just like, oh, I rolled a 1. Let me just reroll this 7 times, add like 14 extra damage dice, and I can just one-shot the world. And I'm like, oh, and most of this is because he's a paladin. And he's lawful good, but if you've played the game, Dimitri snaps.
Oh,
and
Dimitri's my boy. I love him so much.
I love Dimitri. But I mean, like, you have to be the perfect balance of I uphold the law and I'm going to be a good future king and I can crush a dude's face with my bare hand.
Yeah, that is close because Dimitri does have them different aspects of his personality of trying to be a good person, but being unhinged so easily.
Yeah.
It's actually one thing about it is like good versus evil. It's like, is it actually on a spectrum of like, oh, you're a good guy or you're an evil person, or is it based off of your morality? Like good, you have more of a higher moral code, and evil, your code isn't really that good.
Okay, welcome to Philosophy Just Chatting Chat. How are y'all doing?
Just chatting.
Exactly.
At least as far as D&D is concerned, yeah, good, evil, and neutral is a very much just those parts of the alignment are very morale based. Like if you see an old lady fall on the road, are you going to A, help her up, B, walk past her, or C, kick her while she's down and take her money? Sometimes I'm prone to that one, just because depending on the character I'm playing.
Yeah.
But then you gotta like add in like lawful and chaotic, and then true neutral. And so like lawful is just like, well, I have to follow the law, and I'm like, no, that's not necessarily. The law can be wrong. You follow your laws, your code of honor, even if your code of honor is just like, I must punish everyone who's weaker than me because they're weak and they don't deserve to be alive. I'm like, that's you being lawful to your code, but you're still a scumbag.
Right. So, like, lawful would be more along the lines of your discipline to a certain code, whereas chaotic would probably be more of, I'm going to do what I feel like today.
Yeah, basically. And that's why I usually always end up playing, like, chaotic neutral or neutral one thing or the other. But then just, like, playing a lawful... You kind of have to play a lawful character when it comes to a paladin, unless you're going Oathbreaker.
Well, it depends, because, like, Oath of Ancients is a very open one, because...
Oh, God, yeah.
Since you're really just dedicated to nature, you could be an eco-terrorist and still fall into lines of Oath of Ancients. Because as long as you're kind of a jovial person that forgives, you're pretty much still in the lines of it.
Yeah.
And that's why alignment's kind of tricky in D&D, especially when it goes into what's lawful and what's lawful evil. So what I really do is kind of like the questions I gave you all at the beginning of the campaign. I want an idea of what your character believes in and what they would do in certain situations, and that's kind of how I judge like what your moral compass is.
Right.
And
yeah.
Because, I don't know, like, because I'm so sick of that argument of it happened in Tomb Annihilation. Apparently I've seen it happen a lot online as well, where you go in a bad place where, like, slavery's legal, and the lawful good character's like, hey, I buy a slave, and it's like,
yeah. It's like, are you sure this is lawful good? You're kind of in the gray area.
Yeah, it's like, well, technically you're not breaking the law, but it ain't good either.
Oh, like one campaign, we had a paladin who followed a god of war, and it was actually lawful good. He was a good character, but the laws were based off of honor, not based off of, oh, I have to, have to give to charity, I can't kill anybody, all that stuff. Instead, it was more along the lines of treating everyone like a warrior. And that kind of opened my eyes a little bit about, like, you can mold them. You can justify things.
Yeah, it's some people just looking at some of the classes and not really thinking it a possibility is like chaotic neutral's like, well, I gotta play Deadpool. Lawful goods like, well, I gotta play the stiffest cop in the universe.
Yeah, I think that's what Paladin was so low on my list for me for first, is just because it was like roleplay wise, it was just never seemed like a fun character until you start realizing the subtle nuances and the way you can bend it to where you want to, and you're like, okay, never mind. This is actually a pretty fun class if you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
But it's definitely combat wise, it's pretty moderate, basic, and then like RP wise, it's very advanced, and you have to kind of know what you're going with.
Yeah, you really got to know your deity and how they fit into the world and what they would want you to do and not to do. So it adds a whole layer to it, and I like that.
Yeah, so I got like crazy lawful good Dimitri who's over there just like, hey everybody, I'm here to help you, and then I see one thing, I see an undead, and he flips lid and starts killing everything in a massacre. But on the opposite side of that, there's another campaign that's not going to be streamed that I'm going to be a part of, and I basically rebuilt. Have you ever played Star Wars Knights of the Republic?
I've been meaning to, but I never have.
Okay, do you know HK-47, the assassin droid? I've recreated him in D&D.
Okay.
He's lawful evil. He's a warforged rogue assassin. He's going to be multi-class and a few other things. He's technically lawful evil. And because of that, it's because he is a robot, he is an assassin unit, and he is assigned by his base programming to have a master. So technically he has to obey his master's laws and mandates and his own code protocol. So he has to obey these without question. But he's still, if you've ever played the game, you know HK-47, he's that kind of guy who's standing in the room. You could be having an important meeting with like a nice, good meeting with like this peace-loving kingdom and talking to their king. And he'll be like, he'll lean next to you and think he's whispering. And he'll just be like, exclamation, this guy is boring me. Should I kill him, his entire entourage? I could do it right now. And everyone just look at you like, what? Did I say something?
That's great.
And that's just his entire character, is to kind of mess with the party and kind of just have like this air of, I could kill everyone here, but I can't, but I'm really trying to push for it.
You know, you wanna.
Mm-hmm.
It would be so easy.
I actually want to comment on what Mighty Sam's said. They find lawful easy. Mostly, I can honestly see like both ways on that one, because with lawful, you technically don't have to decide on what is right or not. It's more along the lines of you are basing your code off of something else. Not, hey, I want to do this, so I'm going to do it. It's the deity I follow would not like me to do this, so I'm going to stay disciplined and follow these teachings. Or like you said, Danzig, about like your master or whatever they would do. So
Yeah.
Not your moral code, but your actions are limited by someone else in some way.
That's fair. And I need to respond to something Mighty Samson said as well earlier, where I pointed out Arcane Trickster Rogue literally uses intelligence. It completely slipped my mind, and I hate that because I love them.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I haven't played an Arcane Trickster in a long time.
I haven't either. It was my first Rogue, though, and I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, you make a good point there. On the opposite end, what I've seen being trouble with lawful is the people that are a real stickler for it, because I think we can all agree we've never been in a D&D party where everyone was following the law.
Yeah.
At that point where it's just the people with a complete crazy justice mindset. If you do something just slightly morally gray, then they call the guards.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you get to the stiff justice, that's where it could kind of be a problem.
Definitely, yeah.
You gotta balance laws and justice with actually having fun with the party and not ruining the fun for others, and that's where the challenge comes down to.
Right, like, and that's also rough when you have someone being way too evil on the other end. So it's just, usually when I have someone making a party, I'll try and encourage that, where it's like, hey, find a way to kind of meet in the middle with the alignments in case that happens. But I haven't had anyone really go for too hardcore lawful good.
Mm-hmm.
I've had...
Oh, continue.
Oh, sorry. No, I've had like situations where I usually push that when I DM as well. Like, hey, everyone find common ground. Everyone, so where you guys are a party, I want you to be a party in a group. I understand some people's characters might conflict in some ways, but you can still resolve it without having to be at each other's throats. And I've had other campaigns where it's kind of like, I'm playing my character this way because this is what he would do, and I don't care what you other people think on here. And then if I need to betray the party, I will. And I'm like, then I'm going to kill your character.
Mm-hmm.
If I have a party of 5 and you're one who wants to be the special duck out, then the special duck is going to get shot.
Jeez.
I mean, to be fair, in an actual situation, like if you're a group of adventurers banded together, you don't agree, you're out of the party. It's
right. That's something I really feel like doesn't get addressed enough, just because you don't want to hurt people's feelings in real life. Where I had to stop a party and address this at one point, like, hey, this person's a liability. Why are they in the party?
Mm-hmm.
He's like, what's playing the game with? Is like, we're trying to play our characters in character. My character in character doesn't want to be around this literal lich.
Mm-hmm.
I am dead serious. Someone played a lich.
I'm not even sure like what character you're playing. I'm just imagining you as like a holy paladin. It's like, we have a problem. Why is there a lich here? And just like a decayed like skeleton being like, what?
What, I brought cookies. Why? I thought it was okay.
Yeah, it was Hassenbein actually, and to make it even better, the character was a coward. So he ran from half the combats, and my cleric was already a pretty neutral cleric. Was like, okay, what the crap? I'm about to banish this dude.
Right. So it actually adds a little bit to it. Is you almost have to fight with your party's structure, and that's actually what tests your moral code, your laws that you follow, and if the party strays too far from that, then your character doesn't fit, sadly.
Yeah.
That's the thing with paladins that really gets used. Paladins, unfortunately, by their class, when they pick their oath, their character has to follow that oath. Like oath of devotion. You have to abide by the laws of honesty, courage, compassion, honor, and duty, or else you risk breaking your oath and becoming an oath breaker. And it's good and all when the party all kind of agrees, hey, we're all going down in the same kind of similar path. But if too much of the party starts going like, well, maybe we want to kind of do our own thing. What if we want to be a little more chaotic evil? What if we want to like start shooting first and asking questions later? And then the paladin can't follow along, and that can cause a rift in the party and kind of ruin people's fun. And it's kind of a tricky situation.
Yeah, and I know that can always be rough, especially if you're friends with the people in your group as well, and you don't want a rift to form in your actual friendships.
Right.
Yeah, and that's usually when, like, you kind of got to take what you do in D&D and what you do in real life separate.
Oh, yeah. You're acting. While you are playing your character, you are not you. You are someone else, which, granted, I'm a huge stickler about it just because, like, I've done acting, I've been in theater, like, this is, like, how I roleplay is I am that character. So, you kind of have to take it, nothing personal. Whatever your friend's character does, that's not them doing it to you. You're both playing these characters that are influencing each other's characters' lives, not your own.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to be. I've had my moments where I've been annoyed at people, like, out of game, but, it was usually, for something stupid. It wasn't something their character did to me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and if you ask Kristen, she has an absolutely hilarious story about that, where, her one party death was because she tried to save another character, and that character abandoned her.
Oh.
Yeah, they were fighting Baphomet in Out of the Abyss, and Baphomet used a legendary action to teleport all the way in the back of the field where only the ranger was. Used his actual action to use his wall of stone ability, and they were in a maze, so he completely blocked a chunk of the maze out to where only him and the ranger were in a room together.
Oh.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh no.
Yeah, and she was playing the monk, so she's like, okay, I'm the only one that can get over there. And she sprinted up the wall of stone, jumped off of it, and epically just charged at Baphomet in midair, and got to him, did a few hits on him, got his attention, and the ranger's like, cool, Misty steps away.
Oh.
She, you know Kristen, she is such a nice girl, but I could just see the anger in her eyes, just, wait. And then Baphomet's turn came up, and he attacked her 3 times. Then no one else was there, and used all 3 of his legendary action hits on her as well.
Oh.
And it's
Oh no.
And it's a demon prince, so he slapped her.
Yeah.
No mercy. Yeah.
Absolutely. Slapped the soul out of her.
Ooh.
And
That's so unfortunate.
yeah, and this is my wife Danzig for context, and we get in bed later, and I'm just like, honey, you okay? She's like, don't talk to me. And I'm like, but like, you killed me. I'm like, I didn't kill Baphomet killed you.
There's a difference.
And she's like, I'm not mad at you. I can't believe he left me.
You got the girl from Jurassic Park, just like, he left us, and that's exactly what should have happened. The T-Rex ate her. Wow. That sucks.
Yeah, I just felt so bad for her there.
That's another thing.
Gotta love Misty Step.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what if, like, well, I guess my thing is, like, in that situation, if it's something that their character wouldn't normally do, and they ran away, like they metagame ran away, retreated, that I'll probably get a little irritated at the player.
Yeah, he was also playing to put it bluntly, an Ozamar with a hard-on for justice. And
okay.
So he was dead set on killing Baphomet, like taunting him the entire time. And Baphomet got tired of it, so teleported right next to him, and he's like, oh.
Keep talking, yeah, go ahead, I'm right here.
Yeah, that was it. Baphomet was ready to square up with him, and he just
failed.
Yeah.
Okay, at the same time, you could probably argue that could be in character.
I mean, if you're standing there and the demon lord just appears in front of you, traps you in a room, and it's just like, yeah, you want to keep talking all that good? And it's just like, no, Misty Step, run away. You know you're outmatched. You know you're outclassed.
Yeah, so I don't try and be too hard on him. It was just a rough situation in general.
Yeah.
Because it just lined up perfectly, because the rest of the fighter was a wizard, was a wizard, a wizard, a fighter, and a cleric. And they were just all out of range to be able to do anything for her.
Mm-hmm.
And conjuration spells are really finicky, and Dismaze is an enchantment on it.
Ooh, yeah.
So yeah, they just weren't able to use any of their stuff to reach her. Like,
she just had her spirit haunting the Aasimar for the rest of the campaign.
The bad thing was the campaign ended like a session or so later. So yeah.
Aww.
So
dang.
So that was more along the lines of a positioning error. Like people weren't positioned properly.
Yeah, it was. No, everything was on the other side of that wall. The party, her shield guardian, because Kristen's character had a shield guardian, a earth elemental that was the fighter's pet, and at that point, the wizard also had a few thugs he hired. That party is a story in itself of how I literally make it to where I only allow one conjuration specialist a game now. Because if y'all don't mind me telling another story, they fought a beholder, and the exact fight on the beholder, and to clarify, for beholders, they are overly paranoid and plan for everything, for those who do not know, and they expect everything and try and have a plan for everything. What came at him when they surrounded his warehouse was the 5 party members, 8 wolves that the ranger summoned. The wizard and the cleric both used animate object on ball bearings, so there's a swarm of bullets coming at them. The earth elemental, a shield guardian, 2 thugs, and a berserker, along with the wizard, the fighter, the monk, the ranger, and the cleric.
So you could say the beholder was like, I wasn't expecting that.
Yes.
But I was expecting not to expect something.
Oh, and also the cleric summoned his spiritual weapon.
Oh yeah, that's just the beholder just quits. I'm done. Couldn't see this.
No, I was done at that point because the initiative.
They weren't prepared.
The initiative list was all the way down the page, and
oh no, you're right. Crap.
Imagine managing that initiative, and they slapped the beholder very quickly, and I'm just like, I think I'm going to limit the concentration specialist to 1 a party next game, and everyone was like, what? Why? This is so much fun. I'm like, y'all shut up.
It's so much fun. It's like, okay, then I'm going to add bigger things since you guys can.
3 beholders.
Yeah.
Oh, 3 beholders. You know what? Let's throw a Tarask in there. You've really outdone yourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hope
And
you have good initiative.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just I love that party, but hated him for that. That was such a mess to manage.
I bet. Like, you'd almost have to just be like, look, I know it says it has its own initiative, but just move it on your turn.
Yeah.
Well, even that, I was just nearly out of pieces by the end as well. Unless I just started, like, getting real bullets and just sitting them on the table, and it's like, these are your ball bearings.
Animate Object Spell is fun.
There's a little bit of hate for it now, I'm not gonna lie to you. Because, my lord. But to get on the subject, Mighty Samson also brought up something good again of... they think it's sometimes good for roleplay for inter-party conflict, but it can definitely go too far sometimes when it comes to players digging each other every session. What do y'all think about that? Because I think inter-party conflict is realistic and makes sense when you have a whole group with different ideals all coming together for one adventure. Mm-hmm. But there's certain people that in real life will carry that grudge with them.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I can almost see the downside of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about the same. I can see that. It's unfortunate, really.
Yeah. And it's a shame because it's fun, but it's also why, I don't know if you do something similar, Danzig, but I literally will only let certain people play evil PCs, and it's people I know that would do it right and wouldn't be just the entire goal is to betray the party.
Yeah, I try to do that as well. I try to make sure like everyone, if I know the kind of people who are playing, sometimes I'll put an alignment restriction and be like, okay, you have to be at least either this or this or this, and you can't be this or that because that would just conflict with the entire story and party ethic. Like, what's going on with this? And if they got a problem with that, then they can plead their case to me, and if I think they can actually handle it without derailing or causing trouble and ruining the fun, because in the core of the whole game is that everyone should be having fun. The DM, the players, everything should be having fun. That is the first rule and key important thing of Dungeons and Dragons. Right. And if you are breaking that rule or you are putting stress on that rule, then there's going to be a problem.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah,
and
definitely.
If you're a DM, you're especially put in charge of this, is you're like, I'm in charge of my fun and in charge of everyone else's fun. And if someone is going to hamper me giving people to make fun, to let them have fun, then I have to take care of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
okay, definitely.
It can put you in a bad spot sometimes, but it is what it is, and you just gotta kind of almost handle it professionally, almost like a business like kind of thing. Just like, listen, it's nothing against you because I like you and I want you here, but this can't keep happening because of this reason, A, B, C, D, whatever, and just talk it out.
Mm-hmm. I know one time I would really like to play a chaotic evil at some point.
Oh boy.
But because of I guess like my definition of good and evil, like how we talked about like the huge like philosophical discussion about what is good, what is evil, what is lawful, what is chaotic.
And join us next week for the philosophy cast.
Yes. Hey, we named it Deep Speech.
Yeah.
Someone mentioned that.
Literally. Yeah, it's deep speech.
So I feel like we named it perfectly.
Yeah.
And because as a chaotic evil person, you could actually say like, I'm going to help this old lady because I want to, but also I might have a gain for, like the result of it.
Okay.
Yeah, you can have an ulterior motive. It'd be like, hey, this lady's wearing really nice clothes and she fell on the ground. I could help her up and maybe I could pick her pocket, or maybe she can give me a reward or give me like something like that. There's an ulterior motive as opposed to just helping for helping people's sake.
Right. That's fair.
And that's technically chaotic evil. So it's not, chaotic evil isn't just, hey, that's a village, I'm going to go burn down the orphanage and destroy the hospital and go full Joker mode.
Yeah, because to me, that's always what chaotic evil was. It's or you're not even really a player. You're like a force of nature, like the Joker. You do chaos for chaos. I feel like what you're describing kind of falls in the lines of neutral evil.
But at the same time, like, what if your moral code is just that bad? Like, you don't care if someone else lives. You don't care if you take an innocent person's life as long as it meets your gains. That I would say is evil. So, in a way, it makes the, like you said, the force of nature almost human.
Yeah.
It actually brings a character and wants to a character instead of just being almost a lawful evil where your law is to cause destruction.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's where people play chaotic evil a lot, is technically you're playing a lawful evil if you think about it.
Yeah, because lawful evil to me is like, I'd say you're like part of an assassin's guild or a thieves guild. You have a strict code that you go by, like a pirate code, assassin's code, thieves code. Like, there's certain things you do, certain things you don't do. Whether it's like you don't steal from someone less fortunate for you, you don't
kill children, don't do this, like
Yeah.
you don't. Yeah, there's everyone has their own moral compass, and that kind of goes into their alignments. But like, so like when we were doing the Hobo Slayers campaign, we were going around digging through like an ancient temple beneath the mountain, and the reason for that is because for some reason a bunch of people had turned into zombies in the bar tavern, which I had to subsequently burn down the tavern because of ice and fire. But that's beside the point.
Yeah, you just had to. I saw the episode.
There's no other choice.
No choice at all. No.
They're still mad at me, but did we survive? Yes. Yes.
Oh, I loved it. I love how you playing Vice. And I mean, for killing zombies, it's a smart tactic.
You got radiance or fire damage, and I have plenty of fire damage, but there's a lot of zombies.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to use the terrain to amplify your spells.
Yep.
Thinking like a ranger.
Yeah. Or like a certain wizard I played recently.
But some of the villain of that temple was this dwarf and his assistant, and they weren't actually villains. They were just, we found this ancient gate. I'm running experiments on this gate. I'm doing this for my own academic research, and I don't care what else happens. He didn't even know that he had caused an undead appearance in the town. He was just like, oh, okay, well, that sucks. I guess, sorry, I don't really care, but can I go back to my research now? And I'm like, sure. Can you promise to kind of do it a little more careful so it doesn't get into the water supply and poison everyone and kill them and turn them into zombies? He's like, yeah, that's fair. And we talked our way out of it because that dude was apparently like a level 12 or 15 wizard and we're only level 2. And I was like, very clear that I was like, I'm not doing this. We're not fighting this one. I'm talking our way out of it. But like that can be considered like chaotic evil because he doesn't care what happens around him. The nature of his magic could have been evil by nature, or it could have been like necromantic, because it was necromancy, but it wasn't bad necromancy. It was this weird light or good neutral necromancy. But it was just like, he's very chaotic. He didn't care what happened. He didn't care if people heard. He just wanted his information. He wanted his research.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another way of taking it and playing a chaotic character that could be technically evil. So it's still not just, I want to burn down and see the world burn. It's just, I don't care. Mm-hmm. That's just what comes down. I don't care about what happens to other people. I want to do what I want to do.
Yeah, fair. It's sort of like taking this alignment chart and not making it a template for your character. It's more of, all right, this is technically how my character is aligned.
Yeah.
And you're almost thinking of it backwards, which that's how I build my characters, is I don't think of their alignment first. I always think of the character, what they want to be, what are their ambitions, are they following a moral code, or anything of that nature, and then I was like, okay, where in the alignment can I put this? Or where can I argue that this can be put?
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. That's kind of how I play it, because otherwise it can be very challenging and it can cause a lot of rift in the party.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, just to me, I always saw chaotic evil as that, where neutral evil is kind of the middle ground of you just do things that happen to be evil. Well, lawful is a strict code, and chaotic is the absolute opposite of a code. Your whole existence is just the destruction of code. And usually, while I know Joker is a very overused villain comparison, I feel like he
It's a
works
good
really
one.
well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because that, I feel like Dark Knight did a really good portrayal of that. Of he just wanted to be the opposite of order, and that's what he set out to be, and he did a good job of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's how I feel like Chaotic Evil is. It's the character that really is playing the absolute murder hobo and not really thinking about the consequences. They just do things.
Yeah. But then once you get that, like, smart chaotic evil and realize that their actions do have consequences, and then you end up with that hidden evil person, like I mentioned, where it's like, oh, let's go back to the old lady fell down. It's like, I could just walk past, act like I don't care, or I can act like I'm trying to help to save appearance with the party. So maybe like you're using your party to get something. Towards the end, the party's going to turn on you. And that's one thing I feel like you'd have to risk playing that kind of character. But I feel like in that circumstance, if it's part of the roleplay, if done right, it could be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Good point.
Yeah, it just has to be done right.
Yeah.
I can see it going downhill very fast.
Yeah, like I said, I'm very hesitant of letting anyone play evil unless I know they'll do good.
Oh, yeah.
Well, play an evil character well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because if you're actually an evil character, if you are in a tavern looking to find a party to band with, you're smart and actually looking to use them, or you really shouldn't be there. You shouldn't be in society if everyone knows where you align.
That is my number one complaint about rogues and how people play them. Is people do not play rogue smart as they should, because rogue, they're going to have covers, they're going to have schemes, they're going to have aliases. A professional thief is going to have all of that.
Exactly.
But people play a rogue as just to blankly stab everyone and don't care about the consequences.
Yeah, that's just... Yeah, an actual rogue isn't going to go around picking every single pocket on the street. It's going to be cold and calculating and picking the value. Like, this looks like the best target for that. Let me do that. If I get caught, what am I going to say? What is this? Who am I going to be? Who am I going to pretend to be? Who is my identity right now? There's so much underlying in depth for a rogue that people just don't do, and it's such a waste.
It's honestly disappointing at times. Like, as I said, you might as well just play a barbarian if you're going to just go around and attack everything. But it's and I
agree with Mighty Samson here as well. I think a true neutral character might be hardest to roleplay. I 100% agree with that. That is the hardest one, because true neutral, to be truly neutral, you have to have zero emotion.
Yeah.
You have to have no character. You can be like, I don't care if we help this person. I don't care if we don't help this person. Everything is just okay. It's all blank. I'm just like, that's so boring.
At that point, you might as well play Lizard Folk or Shadar Kai, just something that already has messed up emotions as it is.
Yeah.
And just make this how you play them really revolved around that.
The hardest part is if you're the type of player that pushes the party to objective and you're playing a true neutral character.
Let's do this. Or don't. I don't care.
Or don't. I don't care. Like, we need to make a decision now. Let you guys decide. That's not fun.
Yeah.
That's like and the thing, like, your character is supposed to be your character, and you can play it that way. If that's fun to you, that's fine. Because I mean, that's everyone. Just that's your preference. There's no real judgment on that. However you choose to play is how you choose to play. But like, the most memorable things that'll ever happen in D&D come from character defining moments, and true neutral has no character defining moments. They are just, let's go with the flow no matter what happens. I'm just along for this ride. I'm a blank slate, and whatever happens happens.
But haven't you seen movies lately? Blank slates are what they want.
Yeah, well, I mean, There's an entire isekai genre for that.
I don't know. It'd almost be interesting to try.
I know. Okay, depends on the isekai, because at least main character Konosuba, he's at least got a distinct enough personality.
You can't use Konosuba as like a general isekai standard, okay? We all know it's not.
It's the only isekai I watch.
There.
It's kind of like, I guess, closer to Gintama to say it's a parody of the genre.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. It's almost trying to put, like, if someone was actually put in that scenario and just took advantage of it all. It's like, yeah.
You know,
True neutral would be like the Dalai Lama, or like, the head of the Buddhist faith. The guy who's so zen. He's like, the world could be burning around him, and he's still just going to sit there and meditate and be like, everything is fine.
Mm-hmm.
This is how the world is, and this is how we have to accept it.
This is
like,
fine.
This is fine. Yeah. I'm like, but is it though? Isn't it? Don't you want to get revenge on the guy who set fire to your monastery?
Mm-hmm.
Feel about this? Do you really want to just keep sitting there? Okay, yeah, go ahead, keep sitting. Okay, we'll move on.
You almost have to play like Stoic Ice Bear from like I don't know if like
We Bear Bears.
Yeah.
Oh, I love Ice Bear.
I kind of want to play a true neutral eventually because that would just be funny.
Okay, I would like just playing a straight man character.
Yeah. The only thing is like I tend to try to like as a player, I try to push the party along and try to get some kind of progress. Because every party needs that every once in a while because you can derail so easily. But as a true neutral character, how do you go about that? You can't. It's hard to do that in character.
Y'all would have never left the pirate base in Tomb Annihilation if that was the case.
Basically.
Yeah.
that was there's a rift in the party for a little bit. It's like, look, I know we're on this holy quest to save the world. Let's be pirates.
Guys, the pirates over there. We should go mess with the pirates. No, we shouldn't. What do you think? We can stop there, or we don't have to. I'm like, thanks again. Great input.
No, they straight up took over the pirate base and like had a whole crew. It
was epic.
Yeah, they straight wrecked all the leaders and all the. Who was it? Was it one of y'all just tried to surrender now and all the pirates like, yeah, screw it, no, I'm good.
Oh, it was it was our rogue, and it was the first successful
it was
like persuasion roll he's rolled the campaign from what I heard.
Yeah, he had disadvantage. Yeah, he always tried to talk his way out of stuff, and every time he did, it never worked. Especially his roll for seduction.
Oh God. Poor person.
Yeah, it was just more. He was everyone want. Have you ever played Tomb Annihilation, Danzig?
Yeah, I've run a Tomb of Annihilation before.
Oh sweet. All the main characters fell in love with Undril, the half-orc cleric you escort for a little bit.
Oh no.
Like guys and girls both. Everyone in the party wanted her.
I read through the entire monster. I was like, this would be a fun to throw at them, and I never had the opportunity. It didn't line up. That was sad.
Oh, like Undril, and most of the party was new, so I figured it'd be good to have that strong cleric to help them through the first little bit.
Yeah, they ended up getting one of the merchant lord's son, one of the merchant lord's sons. Yeah, him. He was their guide, and so they did a lot of things in there. But they ended up. I actually ended up giving them a recurring villain of my own because, and they were just like, "Hey, we want to there's one left. We're gonna tie him up and bring him with us." And they basically turned him into just a tied up slave. I guess they're gonna try and pawn him off or try and turn him in for a bounty or something. Mm-hmm. But there is one thing in 3.5 that I still love using to this day in 5e, and it's called the Grog of Whimsy.
What's that?
Have you ever heard of that?
No, I haven't.
So, oh God, I'm actually gonna pull it up right here because I can't remember the full thing. So it's Grog of Substantial Whimsy is a special drink that was created in 3.5e. It's a homebrew thing, but it's funny, so I've always allowed it. And I usually either use it as punishments or as like if I'm running out of rewards, this will be a funny thing to add in. It is a D1000 and has 1,000 different effects, and these effects can be very varying. Like number 429, PC can turn whatever they kill into small fist-sized trophies. Or 447, a player character cannot see the undead. He just can't see them. Or tears are acidic. The player character is not burned by them. You know, there's like small things. Some things that are bigger. Something's very small. Like I gain a 6th finger on their left hand, or they can use weapons as musical instruments. So like a dude can like pick up his longsword and start playing it like a flute, and it's hilarious. And they always have a thing. So we had that, and one of those, they forced the were-tiger to drink from the barrel. And the effect he got was he can Misty Step at will twice a day. So he Misty Stepped out of the bandages and he ran and he became a recurring villain because all he wanted to do was get revenge for his fallen were-tigers, and he would attack them with like legions. He'd bait them into zombies, hordes, or whatever to the jungles. And he would just like come in and out the whole time until they could actually beat him. And every time they got close, he would Misty Step away and go formulate new plans.
That is hilarious, actually.
That is such a good villain setup. Wow, that's great. But yeah,
I loved it.
That's amazing. Yeah, the thing with Undril, particularly 3 in particular really wanted her, and the Rogue was one of them. And as soon as it dropped off the camp, I played Undril just straight. She just her only love was justice, and that was it. Like, they were all flirting with her. She was just oblivious to it the entire time.
That sounds like my sessions that I host / run. Is my character's a bard. He's a bard with principles, and he's just a fool who falls in love. Like, think Moroku Yashi extremely easily. But he's not like a scumbag. He's not gonna like cheat on a woman. He's not gonna do anything like that or hurt one intentionally. Just that's how it goes. But he's currently infatuated with our tiefling barbarian, who is very, if she's normal, she's not raging, she's very like despondent to like any kind of flirting whatsoever. But when she rages, she goes complete yandere mode towards my character. Like, he gets attacked by a bandit, she snaps, and then she like rips him into pieces, and it's just like no one touches him but me. And then she like finally some show of love, and then she goes back to normal. She's just like, no, that was just, I'm just defending you, and then walks away. And I'm like, crap, no, stop it, you're playing with me.
Sounds like Rosary plus vampire in reverse.
Right. Oh man.
But yeah, and so he gets her to they finally get Undril to the camp, and Undril gets to that one camp that was along the side of the East River where a lot of people were sick and injured, and I played it. She was furious because a lot of it was stupid. Like, some people had the throat leeches from drinking the water that wasn't boiled, and some had the diseases and stuff. So she was mad that she got there and just saw like how out of order they were. So she went to the medical tent and was like yelling orders at people trying to get ready, and it's like, hey, Undril, you gonna stay here? And just like, yeah, this is what I paid y'all for. And that just like, she was just at her goodbye. I was like, yeah, I'll miss y'all, yeah. And then the Rogue's like, I'm going to a medical tent. Like, okay. And I described it. He comes in to her. Talking to some of the field medics, trying to see what supplies they had, and looked pretty furious at the state they were in, and just saw like what position they left her in, because it described that she was not given any information about Chol as she was coming into it. Like, she thought she could just walk to the camp from the base town. They never told her everything else that was going on the island. So her getting the full extent of everything going on, she was furious. And in the middle of her yelling all that, he's just like, I walk up to her and I roll seduction. And I'm like, I was about to say, you can't, he already rolled. And he's like, nat 20. And I'm like, you can't.
Well.
It's like, one, it doesn't matter how suave you are, if you do not have timing when it comes to seduction. This is in real life as well.
Take notes, people.
This is in real life too. It doesn't matter how
Deep speech.
suave you are, if the timing is awful, you are not going to succeed. If the person is pissed off, there's so much going on, they might be flattered, but that's it. They have more important things to do.
Yeah. I think it was there was some sort of like full or like, you know, like romance thing. It was like the right it's not about who the right person in your life is. It's about the right person at the right moment in time. So like you can meet someone on the street and have like a bad altercation, and like 4 years later meet them again, and they're the one you end up with in the end. It's all just about timing and everything that's going on in life. So
yeah.
And you have to kind of carry that if you're trying to play a seduction bard who's trying to sleep with everyone and everything.
Yeah, and he never tried at that point. He's just like, I'm going to be the one who does it. And I was like, yeah, she ain't receptive to it. Like, I rolled that 20. I'm like, I wasn't even going to let you roll. You just rolled it without even asking me. So, no, that automatically doesn't work.
You can roll it, but what are you going to say? That's my favorite thing to do, is being told that from a DM or saying that to someone as a DM. It's just like, I want to roll seduce. Okay, what are you going to say to them? Yeah. What do you mean? I'm just going to roll. No, what do you say to them to seduce them?
Yeah, that is.
You have to do this.
That is something I hold pretty true to. If, like, you're caught in the act of doing something, okay, how are you going to lie your way out of this? Your plus 13 charisma doesn't matter right now. I want to know what you could come up with to save yourself.
Sort of like what I do is, like, I try not to think of it as, you know, rolling to do a skill. A lot of times, I'm just talking out of my butt to try and get something to happen. And next thing you know, it's like, okay, do they believe you? Roll deception. And it's like, cool. Like,
yeah, I feel like that's how it should be with charisma-based rolls, as opposed to like, I just want to use this roll to seduce. I'm like, did I succeed or not? No, you talk your way, you charm your way in, and if it's just like, if a thing is like you're just kind of having more intimidating speech, then you roll an intimidation roll. If the player's starting to feel, the character or the NPC starting to feel intimidated, if they're starting to feel flattered, maybe you're doing some sort of persuasion roll, or maybe you're doing this or that. You know, it's just they kind of use the skill checks isn't there to make sure you win or not. You have to make your character do a thing. You have to say it.
Yeah, and I've never experienced it much. I never really had my characters go too crazy on the romance, and usually if I'm using romance, it's me messing with my wife and character.
I feel like that's kind of like a fun thing to just take advantage of, though.
Oh yeah. You see what I do with country accents to her? It drives her insane.
Oh yeah, and then she like roasts the country accent in front of everybody.
Oh yeah. So
I'm so looking forward to that.
My wife's she's from Tennessee and's got a really southern family, and she tries to hide her accent.
Oh, I get that. I get that feeling a lot.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure all of us can relate to that. And when I do a country accent, she'll accidentally find herself doing it as well.
That's great.
And I did that just for fun, as I made all of my fur blogs in a game real southern. And she was playing a fur blog in a game, and the one fur blog was just like, well, hey, Doc, how you doing today? And she was just like,
the swamp.
And she would just stare at me, not respond. And he's like, Doc, you okay? You're not talking to me. I just want to make sure you're okay.
Hey.
Well, like,
feeling all right. We got a medical tent in the back.
That was good.
Ooh, like it. Yeah, you gotta throw in those, you know, like
the different inflections. You gotta hit him with the baby lock them doors and
That was a good reference. I actually like that.
You could have had like the bard, like whenever he was introducing himself, he's like turns the lantern down, it's like, baby, lock the door and turn the lights down.
Both the characters being 16, no.
That was just funny to watch.
Oh yeah, that was just my. Normally I do it to mess with her, like, okay, I'm not gonna I'm not going to push that boundary in this campaign. I know medieval times and all, but not doing it.
But
I will say, my DM in my campaign, he's picked a certain set of accents that he'll do voice acting for, and mostly the shrieky, panicky, excited, bubbly kinds. Like the tavern owner of the town we're in, his name is Tweed, and he's just like, I like to drink. My name is Tweed. Tweed. I'm like, everyone's just like, my head hurts. Can you please stop? Look around for the people.
That's great.
that's what I'm looking forward to. Finally DMing is just voice acting so many different characters.
Yeah, I'm interested to see that since you're the only one with any theater experience out of anyone we played with. Me, I just take what I was taught in my 4th grade Charlotte's Web play, I guess.
I sang the Itsy Bitsy Spider when I was in 2nd grade, and it's carried me in all my theater.
My 3rd grade teacher made us sing "We Are Family" every single morning.
What? Really?
Yep.
Huh. I mean...
Oh my god.
My 3rd grade teacher was a pedophile.
There you go.
Well, she wasn't...
Oh my god.
She was actually awesome lady. Like, she was one of my
I wish
favorites.
I was kidding about mine.
You just brought up a repressed memory. So when I was like in 2nd grade, there was
Oh no.
I was 3rd grade. They wanted us to do a like all the kids sing a song for like the parents and do like a little show. But the person had basically did parody lyrics about education to Smash Mouth's All Star. I don't remember any of the lyrics, and there's a reason why, because it's been repressed for the longest time. I just remember like we had to get up on a stage in front of all the parents and sing like Smash Mouth All Star about how education is great.
Hey kid,
And-
you like Shrek?
Oh god, it hurts. Actually, like I'm cringing inside horribly. Oh no.
So stuff like that is actually how I learned the quadratic formula. We had an algebra teacher who played harmonica. Like, she was amazing at it. Somebody saw her like driving into school with the harmonica in her mouth. And
This is Tom Petty? Jeez.
She uses it as a sensor when she gets road rage.
Sounds
Get in your lane, you said. Beep.
like my favorite image I've seen on the internet. Spice up your panic attacks with harmonica.
yeah. So like, just imagine, you're trying to like figure out the quadratic formula, and then all of a sudden you just
That's
constantly
okay.
hear your algebra teacher just going like negative b plus or minus square root, and I'm just like, okay, that's stuck in my mind now.
1st grade geography, we were learning like north, south, east, and west, and there was actually just like, just remember this jingle, and it's like north, south, east, and west. Learning geography is the best, and it's still stuck in my mind, and I want to bash my head every time.
So, the 3rd grade teacher story doesn't really go anywhere. It was just he disappeared one day, and we got a new substitute teacher that just stayed there for months, and then my mom sat me down and told me, it's like, Charles, your teacher had some stuff found on his computer. Well, what did he find there? I'll tell you one day. Then years later, she just randomly told me. I'm like, hey, like it's in 7th grade when I can understand a bit more. I'm like, oh! And then some things started clicking in my mind. I'm like, oh!
The glass shattered on that one.
Yeah, he was just a really friendly teacher, but then I really thought about it and realized...
Real friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not like anything weird happened to me or anyone in my class that I know of. It's just they found some stuff on his computer.
Right.
So I don't think I pray nothing ever happened. That's just the extent of it.
Yeah.
We'll choose to believe what we need to believe. Yeah.
I don't want one day, like, when we're talking about repressed memory comes up and I think back, I'm like, oh no. Other than that, we never really had any jingles at my school. Now I think about it, we had like this CD that my 5th grade teacher played.
Mm-hmm.
It was all like American history songs.
Like old folk songs like Johnny Appleseed or whatever.
Oh.
I just remember the Johnny Appleseed song, but no, I remember there was the Bill of Rights song.
Oh, right. I
Yeah.
remember that so vaguely.
Yeah, and there was this really folk song called about nomad Indian tribes called "We the People." And I can't remember the rest of that album. I just remember them songs pretty clearly because for some reason she'd only play the first 2 songs of the track, then stop it.
And that's where it ends.
No more.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, the next song is about deep-seated politics and corruption. It's like, they'll save that for the next year.
No, it's just like all the death noises from the Patriot. 2 minutes straight of people dying in the Revolutionary War, ASMR.
A favorite. I go to sleep to that every night.
Because I know that was one funny story now I think about it. I remembered it when I was telling that story. We watched The Patriot in, I think, 9th grade, and he fast-forwarded through all the fight scenes. Like that, which made it worse, because it was a VHR fast-forward.
So you saw it all.
Yeah, it went from the scene of the kid shooting in the woods to when he pulled out the tomahawk. Mm-hmm. It was fast-paced, him slicing people down.
And it doesn't count out the sound either. It just speeds everything up. So you just hear the screaming at like ×2 speed, and you're just like,
yeah.
oh no.
Yeah, it was like I was watching an MLG montage of Mel Gibson. It was wild. Like, it was one of my favorite, just kind of funny stories because I went back and watched it with Kristen recently, and I'm like, oh, that wasn't even that bad.
Yeah.
They just spilled some Kool-Aid on these guys.
And that's all that happened.
That's it.
That's all.
That scene in the Patriot, though, is definitely one of those, like, those are the kind of scenes that, like, I want to do in D&D and can never fully commit to. Because so much chaos and rolls has to go about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
it's like, oh, I want to throw this tomahawk. Okay, do you hit it?
Yeah, rolls always trump cinema, it seems.
Yeah, but granted, like, it puts rulings, but sometimes it's like, oh, I just want to be a badass. That's it.
To be fair, Mel Gibson was at least a level 10 fighting a bunch of base guards.
Yeah.
True. But to be fair, though, when sometimes the rolls that you miss lead to even funnier moments if played correctly.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So, I'm playing a Bladesong character, Bladesong wizard in another campaign, and we were doing, I forgot, it's the dragon module.
There's 2. There's Rise of Tiamat and there's
Horde of the Dragon Queen.
Yeah.
I want to say it's Rise of Tiamat, but I'm not positive.
One's
that was
a
the higher
sequel
level
to the
one.
other one.
Okay,
yeah,
so
Rise of Tiamat was the
lower
higher
one
level.
then. Yeah, definitely the lower one. Yeah, we were like level 2, but my character was so he's like folk hero backstory, and his whole thing is he settled down in the town, became a smith, and it starts with like the players finding me just like killing cultists because I watched my family burn. And throughout the entire session,
You are Mel Gibson.
I actually felt like Mel Gibson the other night.
Yeah, that's like all Mel Gibson's characters, I think.
Yeah. So I was just going through and just like thunder clap, slice people, and it's like, oh, I activate my Bladesong ability. I have 19 AC. Hit me, kobolds. So,
Yeah.
and then finally we got into the tunnel. And what could have been a pretty cool moment. So, the type of elf I have Misty Step already. I could use Misty Step once a day.
You Eladrin?
Yes.
Nice, I love Eladrin.
So we got to a door that we didn't have the key for, and we didn't have a player's mat either. Like, we were playing straight through discussion. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to cast Find Familiar and make it a snake to crawl underneath the door. What do I see? As I perceive through the familiar. And I was like, alright, could I do this? Since I see what's behind the door, can't I Misty Step on the other side of the door? He allowed it. Now, the idea was to Thunderwave and destroy the door. And the reason I didn't do it on our side was because we were in a tunnel. Thunderwave in close spaces, not good. Not good at all.
Right.
So, the idea was, okay, I'm going to teleport to the other side, break the door, the sound should be muffled enough, while there's kobolds on the other side that should be deafened. I also didn't realize that I possibly could have just teleported and thunderwaved all the kobolds and cultists and killed them all myself. But that's here or there. I wish that happened. But I was
That's just a theory.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? I already decided on this bad decision. I'm not going to metagame. I'm just going to see what happens. And the DM's just like, yeah, everyone else, you have to do 2 rolls. 1, make sure you're not deafened. And 2, see if you can dodge the shrapnel from the door. And I almost party killed our entire party.
Did they die though? In cover of Vice, but did they die though?
One did actually die, but but we flavored it that I resuscitated him through Shocking Grasp.
Oh.
But I also downed him because of the Shocking Grasp damage.
Downing and dying are 2 separate things.
Yeah.
What are you doing to your party? Sounds like you're the biggest threat.
I mean, until then, I was killing, all these kobolds and cultists. I was being the tank as a wizard.
Order the Dragon Queen. Also, there's this murderous elf. Please help. Oh god, he's coming.
It's like, oh, the town blacksmith is murdering all of the invaders. But he's scarier than the invaders.
Rise of the Blacksmith.
Yeah.
Where's the blacksmith? Behind you.
Oh no!
I did have a mishap with Shatter happen that was similar to that. That was absolutely amazing. In Dragon Heist, for your context, Dre, Kendall, and Kristen were all in this campaign, and Kendall was playing an alchemist who had her lab on the 2nd floor of the building. Xanthar got mad at them, sent a few a bunch of goons at them, a group of kobolds, bugbears, goblins, all sorts of riffraff, all attacked his tavern. And Xanthar usually uses sewers. They tunneled in through the sewers and broke into the basement and attacked from there. And he sees this, he's like, crap, I'll take care of him. And he casts Shatter, but centers it to where it'll hit the floor, hoping to cave it in and just take out a whole bunch of them at once.
Right.
Since the basement's straight below. And I'm like, what's the radius on Shatter? And he's like, 15 foot. I'm like, that's a 10-foot hall ceiling.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
And then I'm like, what's here? And I checked the very room above is the alchemist lab. And I'm like, roll your damage. And he rolled near max damage.
Oh.
So all 3 shattered. Potions start falling. And I'm like, all right, now I need you to roll a D100. He's like, why? Then his eyes went wide, and he realized I was making him roll for the potion mixing table. Because a bunch of potions just got mixed together, and if you roll 100 on the potion mixing table, it makes a force bomb of 6d10 damage.
Yeah, you don't mix volatile chemicals.
And so, and literally everyone's yelling, did you just blow up our house? And he rolled a 44, and I think the result of that was just both potions mixed together fine. I'm like, oh, okay. It was just healing potions, so you're fine. But everyone was just sweating there, just yell, you tried to blow up our house. He's like, no, I didn't.
I just miscalculated my calculated strategy.
And Kendall found her lab, then chased him down. The session ended with him running, screaming through the streets as an Aasimar is literally flying after him.
Bravo.
Yes. That was great.
He just had, and to be continued. It's like,
Me and him told one, Danzig, you got a good story to add to this?
Oh boy, stories, things that I've definitely played a character that has gone off the rails, and this was my like one time with 3.5. We were supposed to play like a very normally neutral-ish kind of party alignment wise, but that quickly went off the rails, and we all kind of descended into chaos and madness together. But I was playing a lizard man samurai, and in the turn his whole goal was, I want to reforge my family sword, which is made from meteoric iron, so I had to find meteors for materials and reforge the blade, and I want to regain my family's honor. But he's a Ronin, he's on his own, and that quickly turned into, I became the king of a drug cartel pimp for our half orc, and I started running. Started running a lot of shady with a trap of a half elf rogue.
Oh wow!
A lot of stuff happened. It was very much just like we were like, all right, we're going on this journey. We've got this exp paid for by, I can't speak the means because they were very, very inappropriate how we got to this point. But we're on the journey, and we were like, hey, there's this logging camp over here, and these elves have moved in and taken over the place, and they kicked out the gnomes who were working there. And we're just like, all right, we're gonna go take care of that. Well, we go there, and they're all elf hippies. They never really took everything as they started squatting, and then never left. And so we start ridding the elves out of there. And I find a pot of this blue plant, a bunch of blue plants everywhere. And I was like, huh, what kind of properties does this have? So I try, I take a strand of it, I light it on fire, and it's just like, you feel this calming effect as your mind kind of eases. And I'm like, you just give me like a strand of weed in this game, Chuck? And he's like, yes. And I'm like, okay, so I know what I'm doing here. So I started like, see, we had somehow, and don't ask me how, because we were just running with it at this point, because we derailed this campaign. He was just like, we're just gonna have fun. We had a loincloth that was a bag of holding. Because our half orc with an intelligence of 5 barely speaks. His name was Radish.
Radish.
The reason because his name was Radish was because he never told us his name. I don't think he even knew he had a name. But every now and then, just randomly, from his loincloth, he would pull a radish out. And we had no idea why. So we were in the city, we were just like, okay, where does he keep getting the radishes? And so we look at him like, we need to get that loincloth off him. So in the middle of a busy market, I had to use my samurai to persuade him to take off the loincloth, which apparently he had somehow got a bag of holding and fit himself into, and even though it tore, it never broke the bag itself, and it created like a invisible hold. And it was just like, you just see like all this, like these things like start like emerging as he slides down the loincloth. So we got him clothed. So we now have a very wide bag of holding that can fit a buff half orc barbarian's waist. So I start shoving the potted plants in there later, and I was like, oh, man, they need some sunlight and some that. So I started like going to the river, water, and then the gnomes were thanking us, like, but we lost our home earlier, and just like, hey, I got an idea. So I took an entire town of gnomes and put them in the bag of holding, and created a labor force, so to speak, to take care of my plants inside the bag of holding.
Oh. Wow.
And I made sure they're well fed and taken care of and everything.
They had enough radishes to eat.
Yeah, I gave radishes. When we found the radishes, we were like pulling them out, and we were just like, this is ridiculous. So we turned the bag over, and we made like a garbage barge worth of like radishes that were just like covered in unspeakable things that stuck together, and they just floated out off the river and into the sea. So We cleared the radishes, but I got them fed. We got them nice and great. It was all good. And then we were just like, hey, let's have a. And then eventually, it's like, oh, man, we're gonna reforge the show, and we're going on this adventure too. Let's get a bunch of wood. Let's fill the bag with ocean water, and create a civilization in there, and then dump the boat in ocean water in a volcano, and have a giant hot tub party tub in a volcano. And that became our goal for the rest of that. And it was just us partying, selling drugs, and becoming just like kingpins.
Man, Narcos Season 2 sounds awesome.
Right?
Also, Chibi Gamer, thanks for the follow. And they said, tell them about the Zelda D&D, coward.
Oh, so... Okay. I'm not a coward, I'll tell you guys. So one of the first things that I ran online was I want to do a Legend of...
After that story, I think you had...
There was a lot of things that happened. And I'll tell you, the party that I DM'd for was very chaotic, more chaotic than I was used to, and being a player, and so I was very overwhelmed as a DM. This is like 5-6 years back. But we're playing, and so many different things happened. Our Goron was a wrestler named El Brazo Fuerte. His brother was a Zora. They were both raised by a DQ. Chibi Gamer was playing the Zora. He was his manager, and they were a traveling wrestling group who wanted to gain fame. And so together they had to go through all these adventures, and they went to the Deku Forest. There's a great Deku tree. It's a very like an Ocarina of Time setting.
Nice.
And there's like a bunch of cobalt. There's a bunch of like spiders and things like Skulltulas that are attacking the tree. And our lizard man Archer broke his bowstring with a nat 1. So his only course of reaction is like, I want to fist the spider and pull out silk. And I go, you want to run that by me one more time? It's like, I want to take my hand, put it up the spider's butt, and pull out silk. And I'm like,
improvise, adapt,
overcome. All right, yeah, there we go. Roll for it. And he did it. He fisted a spider, pulled out silk, restrung his bow, and started killing again. And the amount of chaos that just went on, how far it derailed, was I kept trying to keep it on track, but it just wasn't helping. And eventually I had to give him like a side alt, just like him a side encounter, which is like, hey, you found this weird altar and a bunch of cultists, and you're just like, yeah, we're gonna go attack him and kill them. It's like, what kind of altar is this? The magic altar. And I was like, you know what, go ahead and do that. It was just like, oh, can we summon something with this? And I saw how it lead to wanting to summon. I'm like, oh god, I have a headache. Yeah, sure, go ahead, summon whatever. Roll a D100. And they rolled a D100. I think they rolled a 1 D1. And I was like, congratulations, you summoned Satan. He burns the entire Hyrule ground. It's completely in an apocalyptic state. You all die. Campaign's over. And I was like, I'm done with y'all. I'm so done. I had no more fun.
And then the Wind Waker campaign starts.
Yeah, just floods all of Hyrule. All right, next campaign.
That'll be the follow-up many years down the line.
Yeah. You gotta, give them props for being resourceful. It's like, crap, I don't have a string.
If I had done that now, I would have been a lot more patient, and I would have been a lot more laughing about it, but that was my first time DMing, and I had I'm trying to keep to this, kind of keep to my own script, and it was not the best. And my favorite quote from it was, yeah, you can't get AIDS from fisting a dinosaur.
I'm glad you said that. I didn't want that voice line of me out there.
Yeah, I've got worse out there. Don't watch my VOD at the Anime Awards. That just got a little crazy at the end there. But yeah, there was a lot of chaotic stuff that happened in that game, and it's still one of my favorite memories now, but back then I was just so frustrated.
Oh yeah, I guess, yes, if it being your first one that you DM'd, I could see, like, just a lot of the times, like, you want that first one to go perfectly. You want it to go right.
Oh.
Yeah, I wanted to tell myself to tell the story, and they were just like, ha ha, we're a traveling wrestling group. I'm getting, the people's elbow dropped down by a giant Goron screaming, El Brazo Fuerte! In every situation.
I mean, what else do you do?
Yeah.
It was also, like Chibi said, it was also most of their first time doing anything D&D related.
Yeah,
and so
I think all of us look back and cringe at our first time at D&D.
Yeah.
Trey, not all of us are perfect. I know I do.
I don't know, like, my first D&D campaign was, well,
you had a lot of experience with theater and stuff.
yeah, I was just learning the game, and I started out as a sorcerer. So the biggest thing was rules. And having to learn, like, how to do everything correctly.
Yeah, that's what I mean, is in usually, I think I played fine. It was more rules I got wrong or got confused on.
Yeah.
That I was breaking the game and didn't realize it. Like, I thought I could sneak attack twice in a turn, my first rogue. Right.
Yeah, it's this one that you got to learn the rules of it. There's so many rules, you're not going
Right.
to until you play a bunch. And I've gotten a lot better with that and learning how to rulings and help co-DM when I'm just a player in the game to make sure, like, in case they have any questions or anything like that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just a learning experience, and I try not to be hard on people because it is a lot to learn, especially if you are DMing.
Yeah.
That's why I usually try to stick now to the rule of fun, meaning that if it's the rule of fun and the rule of explanation. Fun, I'm more like to say, okay, forget the rules. Let's see how we can make this work. And if it's an interesting idea, if you can explain to me how it works, I will do my best to cater to it.
Right.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Well, I actually think we should probably wrap it up. It's getting to 9 p.m. now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
that
kind
went
of flew
fast.
by pretty quickly. Thanks so much for coming on, Danzik.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Do you have any final words? Anything that you want to say to everyone?
If anyone checks out my usual the sessions that I run, we're actually taking a 1 week break due to our DM having in-laws in town, and we're doing a one-shot led by one of our other players. It'll be like a level 5 one-shot campaign that's going through a dungeon. So if you want to check that out, you can check that out on my Twitch channel. Otherwise, Hobo Slayers D&D will be this Sunday night at about 7 p.m. Central Time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nice.
And what time is the other campaign?
We usually start pretty late. We don't have a time set on that one yet, but it's probably gonna be about like 8 or 9 p.m.
Okay.
Yeah, that's Friday nights, right?
Yeah, we're gonna try and do it Friday night.
Okay.
Okay. I guess. Want to see if we can find a raid target?
Yeah, let's do that.
Do you have anyone in
Sounds
mind,
good.
actually?
I think Amy's streaming right now. Let me see.
I don't see her on there. I know Game Miller's on there.
Let's see.
You're not live, Chibi. But you do make good Gmod content. You got the funny.
Let's see. Arlenia's streaming.
Are you streaming?
Mhm.
Okay. Playing Mario Kart?
Oh yeah, Mario Day.
It is Mario Day, that's right! March 10th.
Yeah.
Mario!
Maybe me and Chibi will probably pop on, see if we can maybe play some Smash Brothers for a little bit, just to celebrate the day.
I didn't know Mario Day was a thing, actually.
Yeah, MAR 10.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
So, as always, thank you all so much for watching. If you want to catch the Arcane Gates session, The Torn Veil, we stream every Saturday around 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And thank you all for joining the first official episode of Deep Speech.
All right.
And thank you again, Danzik, for coming by.
Yeah, thanks for having me.